The bag and the passport for the Yarn Discovery Tour here in Northeast Ohio that begins
Tuesday.
Yay!
September 3rd.
September 3rd.
So excited. This is our second year doing this, but it's not the second year for them. It's many years of doing it.
Yeah, like 19 or 20.
Yeah, shocking.
And how many stores are on it now?
There are 19.
19 stores in Northeast Ohio. Yes! We have a lot.
We need more.
Oh yes, closer to us.
Severe yarn shop.
Mobile yarn shop, so we can just give you a call and you come to us.
Yeah. But we'll talk about this more at the end.
Suspense. All right. Well, today is August 31st, and we've been experiencing some amazing weather here in Ohio. So nice. It's starting to feel fallish. I've already had my pumpkin spice latte.
It's still summer.
It's summer.
Oh, I love fall. Fall.
It's still summer.
So, I'm Jennifer.
Darcy.
Crystal.
All right, and we are the Knitters Are Here, and we'll just jump right into finished objects.
Okay.
Darcy.
So I have a finished object. Crystal has the same finished object. This was a knit along that we did with Kristy Glass and
last year. It was this time last year because they have their new one this year.
That's right. So we wore this as a finished object on the yarn tour last year. So it's kind of
this was unicorn along.
Yeah, this was a unicorn along. The Unicorn Kounty KAL. Correct?
Yeah, it's KAL or CAL.
Right, because some people crochet.
Right.
So, and the yarn is all from Asylum fibers.
Yes, and it's gorgeous.
It's
She does a wonderful job.
And so squishy. But we started at this point and went to the end of the green. So, yeah.
You have it backwards.
Do I?
Mm-hmm. Pivot.
Ross.
See, the joints are.
Oh, yeah. The joints are a little different. And I think I did some of mine different. I don't know if I just misread.
Oh, yeah.
But my
because
mine are a
looks
little
like
different.
Your top.
Yeah, I think I did it correct. I did it correctly here. You were supposed to alternate
2 rows.
And I decided not to, or just
Forgot.
typical, didn't do it. But I still love it.
So pretty.
And it was really neat because this green,
color here,
her green has blue in it, and mine has very little, if any.
Yeah,
but
it's
it was
like
really cute.
Really nice. And this was a lot darker, I think, than yours.
Yeah, the colors on ours were different.
Did you use yours here?
It is. It's on
and
your
there's
table.
a bit of a sparkle.
Yes, it does have a glitter in all of it.
Oh, in all of it.
Yeah, it all has like a glitter. I don't know if you can see that or not.
The weight is just lovely.
It is. It's gorgeous yarn. This year they're doing.
It was a DK?
Yes.
DK.
This year, Kristy Glass and Asylum Fibers and 144 stitches are doing Duchess and Dragon.
That's what it is.
It's their Rhineback.
Yes.
Rhineback thing.
So that's one finished object. And the other finished object is Frank's
socks.
So they're all done.
So cute.
And they're so squishy. And last night he described them as grassy.
So they were on his feet and you just smelled them.
Yeah. He had just gotten out of the shower. So
okay.
But yeah. So he says they smell grassy. It's 100% wool. This is the kit
Don't
I
call
got.
that rustic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Woolly. So this is the kit that I got from Cast On in the yarn tour. Was it the yarn tour? No, it was. I had Frank with me. So yeah, it was a yarn tour, and Frank went with me, and this is one of the ones he picked up. So
very nice.
That's my finished object. Beautiful. Yay! Socks. What do you have?
Finished object. I didn't bring my socks I made for Dave, but I did finish them. So maybe next time I'll bring those. They actually fit.
They're on your Instagram, right?
I think so. I don't.
They will be on.
I have to get more hip with the Instagram thing. I don't know. Yeah. I think I send pictures to you guys more often. Yeah. What I'm wearing is the Shifty by Andrea Mowery. I went short sleeve instead of long, And I used Noro, so I used multiple strands of Noro, and the whole time that I was doing it, I didn't like it, and I felt like it was a little brownish here.
Yeah, we had to keep telling you it looks great.
Just kept going, and let Noro predict the pattern. There were a few colors that were too similar, so I would cut and splice and take out a little bit. And so that way, like the yellows weren't always together, so there was always like a pop of color. And then when I got to the sleeves, I'm kind of matchy. I didn't want one sleeve to end in blue and one sleeve to end in pink.
Right.
So I went through my scraps and found enough of this green. It's like, okay.
I love this color green.
Yes.
It's like a teal.
Yeah. So, and this one's a little more bluish, whereas this is a little more green, but it was enough.
I wouldn't have noticed that.
I love my scale. Thank goodness, watching all these podcasts talking about weigh your yarn.
Yes.
So I weighed what I had. I split it in half, so I knew they would come out somewhat equal, and I was able to get that down. But this was a learning experience because I used, obviously, circular needles but mine were too small in diameter, so I kept cramming it. And in doing so, I wasn't able to see the width of what was happening. So when I got to the end, it was this, it was just huge. And
an A-line kind of road shape?
So, and I'm terrible about following directions. I'm a skimmer. I am a master skimmer, and this is where it gets me. So, 1, rip it out. 2, throw it away. Because I heard somebody do that once. Just throw it away.
And don't pick it out of the trash.
No.
Don't let your husband pick it out of the trash.
And 3, sew it or steek it. I think is so. I turned it. I went ahead and washed and dried it. I thought maybe something miraculous would happen in the dryer. Of course not. Things you don't want to shrink will shrink.
Right.
So I marked where I wanted it, sewed up and down the seam, and cut that puppy. So I could at least wear it.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got some ugly seams on the inside, but nobody's
They're on
gonna
the
see
inside.
that.
Yeah,
That's why they're on the inside. Yeah.
So I'm curious about this pattern. Does it indicate where the color changes happen, or is the yarn that she suggests an automatic? It does the coloring itself.
Right. She uses the spin cycle.
Right.
So there's one main color that you're using throughout, and then there's different colors that you spin cycle that you put back into it.
Okay.
And it really is just whatever
it happens
to be.
And I was thinking she was like Fair Isle.
Yeah.
Changing.
Color 1, okay, now you're going to color 2, and then color 3. Color 1's all the way.
2 would be exactly alike.
No.
Cool.
I saw one recently that was done like with a deep navy blue, almost black, and then she just used a second color in light grays that was that spin cycle type.
That kind of sounds right up my alley.
Oh my gosh, and it's long sleeve. She did a fabulous job on it. I loved it, and it was fun. This kind of pattern was very easy to keep up with. It was a road trip knitting, so it was pretty easy to do. Everybody who's ever done the shift or the night shift, they just talk so much about I think they're called blips. They keep the pattern interesting and fun. So that is my finished object for today. Cool. Andrea Mowery.
Mine is called The Little Black Tank, though I didn't do it in black. And it's Momma in a Stitch, which I think her name is Jessica. And I used Premier Rodeo yarn, and this is the one I was talking about. That's a very open weave, and it's just a nice little 2 pieces that you sew together.
I like how it drapes.
This yarn is so drapey.
It is.
I love this yarn.
Is this the one that we were talking about yesterday? If it's rodeo or
yes, rodeo. Yes, I used. I did the same pattern with like the sugar and cream, and it's just rougher. It just hasn't gotten. It doesn't have the drape that this one has, but this one has just a lovely drape. I actually made this for my roommate, and I asked her if I could borrow it today for the podcast. But this is. And then after I finished it, I didn't want to really get started on anything else, and I found this ball of yarn that I had been given to me. I'm sitting beside my chair, and I thought, oh, okay, I'll just do a real quick washcloth.
It looks super rough, but it's not.
Well, and this is the same yarn that this is like the washcloth yarn or whatever that I bought.
That it's a little bit
to make little scrubbies
for
my
scrubbies.
face.
Or
and
your pots and pans.
Wow, it's going to be really abrasive on my skin. But now,
it's like
feeling it, it's very soft.
Yeah.
So that'll work out great.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, great for a pot scrubber or exfoliating cloth. So
Clean your bumper, the bugs off your car.
Yeah, whatever. I just thought I'd just throw that out real quick. So
nice.
it worked out well.
Awesome.
Yay! Oh, and on a side note with finished objects that I showed last time with
The little-
with Bella's,
Yes.
she got it, she loved it, she
Oh,
wore
good.
it, it looks adorable. It's a perfect fit for her.
Aw,
So
good.
I told her now she can watch the podcast. She wasn't allowed to
Oh.
watch
Oh.
before, so now she can.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right, so we can move on to our whips.
Well, I finished the socks. I'm still working on the scarf. But I did decide to just go ahead and cast on the ball that doesn't have a lot of the gray. And then, so I just alternated what I had left. I alternated the skeins. I kept the stitch count the same. Everything's the same. So I just alternated the skeins. And then now I've run out of the original and I'm just solely using the new. So
this is all new.
this is the old section.
Okay.
Where it has a lot of the
Great.
gray. And then this is the new. So here's where I've alternated the skeins. You can see that the pattern is actually still there, but now it's in a yellow instead of this gray. Is being the prominent thing I see, especially now looking at it here in the camera.
Yeah, it does show up.
So
So the story
I didn't-
continues.
I didn't tell him. I mean, because it's hand dyed. I mean, I don't.
I think this
It's gonna
creates an
happen
interesting.
no matter. Even if the ball that I had was still this light gray, it still may not have made the same because it's all hand dyed.
Right.
So it's
and
very
when
arbitrary.
you wear the scarf.
Right, and he told me how he intends to wear it.
Okay.
So he wants to fold it and tuck it through. So this is how he intends to wear it. So I guess you're not really, I mean, the two ends will definitely be different. But
complimentary.
yeah. So I can make
It even
peace with
matches
it.
your knitting needle.
I know, I love these knit picks, interchangeables. So apparently it needs to be much, much longer down here.
Okay. But not terribly longer. I mean,
No, I don't think so. So,
it could potentially be done in 2019.
Hopefully. I'm tired of looking at it. But that's one. And then the other whip that I have that's been a whip forever is, I don't even remember. I forgot I had it.
Ooh, it's like
The
Christmas.
bee-
You found a new one.
Yeah, the Bee Simple Shawl.
Oh.
So
I didn't
this
realize
is,
you had started it. Okay.
yeah, so this is also Destination Yarns.
Okay.
This is my
This is a
castle.
castle.
This is the Island Donan
Oh.
Castle yarn. And so this is the one I started. This is the yarn that I bought during,
So you have to tell the
Pittsburgh.
story about this yarn, though.
well, the Island Donan Castle in Scotland is a very famous castle. And it's equally famous for me because I'm a McRae and it's our castle. So,
How many
And
people
it's-
can say, I have
they
a
have
castle?
well, I don't.
But when we
my
went-
family that lives there does. So when we went to Scotland to visit, I actually got to go to the castle, touch the walls, see the whole thing. And so when we went to
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh,
We discovered Destination Yarn. We had
Right.
no clue before.
right.
And we go to into this booth, and all this gorgeous, nice, squishy yarn. It was beautiful, and she was just drawn to this
Because it's
yarn.
gray.
And she
it's
picks it up and
green.
looks at it. She's like, "Oh, it's my castle!
Yeah,
Crystal, look, it's my castle!"
kind of did a little freak out, and I don't think she quite knew what to do with me because I was over there freaking out about my castle being there and not realizing it was the name on the tag, and because she dyes her yarns for different locations.
Different locations.
Destination
Destination
yarn.
yarn. So she
So-
has some that are like that one is campfire.
Right.
So it's kind some of them are just kind of ambiguous
Oh.
destinations, but some of them are very specific.
So that's what it looks like.
One of my favorites, and I didn't bring it because I didn't think we would be talking about it, is called Shark Infested Waters.
Which I want that.
And I saw it, and I went and looked at it, and I saw the name, and I started laughing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Darcy, you got to look at this. I call it Shark Bite because it's blue and white, and then there's just hints of red.
Like blotches
of red throughout, and a little bit of black.
That's good.
Yeah, it's perfect. And it's
Oh
like
my God.
shark-infested waters, aka shark bite.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I want that too, but I don't know
Yeah.
what you would make with that.
Yeah, I
so.
haven't decided what to make with
Probably
it.
another
I have a
shawl.
skein of it.
So that
but-
you would see the actual
Well,
layout
yeah.
of the red, but so yeah, this has been in here for a long time because my life is spending. So those are my whips.
Yay.
I know. I'm
What you got
feeling
going?
the same way with whips that like I'm waiting to start new things because
Right, I
of
want to wait till the tour. Yeah.
But at the same time, I have things that I need to finish. Oh, I was gonna. Okay, I'll show you these first, but I don't know. Did I? I hope I brought the tag. I had. Oh, I meant to bring my bag too.
I love your bag.
Is it out there?
Yeah, maybe
Your
I'll
bag?
go grab it.
I can
This
grab it.
is.
Did you make this bag?
No, this is.
Okay.
Well, it's my car.
Oh.
Yeah. So I got this at Lexington Fiberfest. I can make these bags, and but
It has, yes.
it is Star Wars fabric, and I didn't realize this, but originally this was my car project bag that I kept my scrappy blanket in, and it got too big, so I had to swap it out. But I left this in my car, and it was in the back seat, and I pulled into the garage one night, the garage closed. It glows in the dark.
That's too
Best
cool.
project bag ever. So,
I think I remember
Yes.
you mentioning.
so excited.
So this is a Cedar Hill Farm Company
Yes.
bag.
Thank you
Cedar
for
Hill
give them-
Farm. I
She
need to look
makes
them
great bags.
I want something in Doctor Who.
Ooh.
Do they have Doctor Who? Did
I
you
don't
look?
know. I didn't because I saw
need to
Star
look.
Wars. I also bought a project or a progress keeper that was a stormtrooper, and she's like, "You just missed it. Somebody just bought Yoda," and I'm like, "Oh!" I ran into the lady later because she had like a Star Wars shirt on, and I showed her my bag. She goes, "Oh, look at my progress keeper," and I'm like, "That was the one I wanted."
Very good, Jen. You didn't mug her.
I didn't bite or anything like that, but I was a little upset. So I won yarn from another podcast called Two Purls in a Pod. I think I mentioned the
Yes.
last one. They are out of Elmore, Ohio, and their local yarn shop is Crafty Needles. But I was gifted this yarn, and I feel terrible. I
beautiful.
do
It is so
not
neat.
have the tag, so I will add that to the show notes. I feel terrible. I got the most
Perfect
adorable
sock
little
yarn.
bag made by one of the ladies who does the podcast, and Becky, and I got a progress keeper that's Two Purls in a Pod. I meant to bring it in, so I apologize for not bringing it.
Yep, bring it next.
But this is sock yarn, and I decided I'm gonna make socks. So I actually contacted Sophia from Knitters League. Said, "What's your pattern? What do you use?" She's always knitting socks, so she sent me the link that she uses. So here are my socks that I've started.
They're so cute.
And it's really coming out nicely the way they are changing colors, and totally out of my wheelhouse. Like, this would not have been yarn I would have picked.
Look at these little teeny tiny needles.
Very teeny tiny. So if I could get any food
So
stock,
what-
I'm like, yeah, good to go.
What made you decide to do double points versus, because you had tried it before, Magic Loop,
Yes.
right?
I could not find a circular, and I
That
think these
tiny?
are in one. And yes, this is size 1, and I wanted to get started. And so
Okay.
I had a set of double points, but they weren't one. So I had to go, and I just bought bought one pair, sorry. And just thought, I'm just going to do this and keep it going. And obviously I haven't knit too much on this because school started. The
Right.
knit train has stopped, and
It's just slowed down.
no, it stopped.
It stopped,
It
okay.
stopped.
So this is our chance to make a sweater and catch up.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
Maybe we can get one in before she finishes the school.
So the pattern that was recommended to me was truly, oops, let me make sure was the vanilla sock. And I'm such a newbie with socks. When they talked about, it's just a vanilla sock, I thought, how people describe things as a vanilla.
Plain.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize there was actually a pattern.
Well, and then she mentioned it to me, and I'm like, oh, the vanilla sock. And she's like, I thought you really meant it was just like bland and boring.
And just
No,
a plain
that's-
sock. Yeah.
That's the sock.
So then I went to, because this has a afterthought heel, so you do the the little scrap yarn. For some reason, this makes me really nervous, but we'll see how that works. But I also bought the pattern from Sock Therapist that does the fish lips kiss, or fish kiss lips, fish
lips kiss.
Something. I don't know
Something
the
of
order.
that.
And so I've gotten that in, I thought it would be like a one-pager.
Yeah.
It's a very long pattern. Socks freak me out, but I am going to overcome this
you did
fear.
Dave socks, and they turned out really well. And think of winter coming, and you can sit there while you're knitting and look down at your nice socks. Come on, Crystal. Is this sounding exciting to you? Come on, come on.
Not nice.
Because
you can buy those puppies.
So, you know, and Frank calls you saying
I want a
that.
sticker. You can buy those puppies.
You can buy those. And Frank's like, you know, she's right. I'm like, well, I wanted to make them. Why not?
But the love that you put into them.
Right.
Yes.
You've got to make socks because I have a really cool idea for knit-along.
Oh, no.
Because I am a teacher. Knit little ones. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So a hat, a scarf or a cowl, boot cuffs, and socks.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So like the whole ensemble.
yeah.
The only
You
way
see
I
us
ever do
walking
socks
downtown
would
while
be
we're in the
footies.
same
So
outfit.
Footies.
yes,
Good.
those are the only socks I would ever
also
consider.
picked up a pattern by Church Mouse for Tunisian slippers or bed socks.
I think
And
I
they're
have that
supposed to be
pattern.
super simple, and I haven't tried it yet, but
You do that.
shoulders, knees, and toes.
I like flip flops.
So I too kind of went through like what's in all these bags,
Right.
and so
what you got?
Oh, I forgot about that.
this I started last May and put it aside.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost done. But this, speaking of destination yarn, when I went to one of her classes, I dyed my own yarn. So this is
gorgeous.
the colorway on that. I don't have a name for
You
it.
didn't name it?
Didn't name it yet. And then this bluish,
You probably
greenish.
need to name it after a park.
Maybe.
One of your favorites.
This is DK, so I just doubled up the fingering, and this is
This makes me think Medina Bees.
Yes,
Malabrigo.
it does. Kind
Really?
It
Okay.
really does.
Yeah, because it's
I mean, even though this is kind of a
bluish.
teal,
Yeah.
as opposed to the green, it's just green enough that it just
Yeah.
makes me think.
so I don't
It
have
could
much
be
more to
butterflies.
go. And
Your
I
butterflies.
Oh,
your
that's
butterflies.
my dream knitting. That'll come
Butterflies.
later. I have a butterfly idea too.
There you go.
So I just really want to finish this and get it done, and I
Right.
don't have
Kinda like
much
the
more.
castle.
Yeah, it's just something I'm doing until I feel like it's long enough.
Yeah. Oh, it
Do
doesn't
you-
have an end.
No, this is the pattern that why am I drawing a blank?
Sierra's making.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
it's that same pattern.
Okay.
Memories of Juno.
Yes.
We
and
miss
that-
you, Sierra.
Yes.
We miss
Hi,
you.
Sierra.
Have fun at school.
Hurry up and graduate so you can come and waste time with us. I mean, come and knit with us. So yeah, it's close. I just want to
has a
finish
cold.
it. No.
Yes. Every year when she goes to school, she gets a cold.
Yeah.
And she's in a new dorm too.
No, same dorm, different room.
Oh.
Actually, this one was
Maybe
not Memories
monkeys
of
were in
Juno.
that dorm before her.
This is actually, make sure, I always get worried about the pattern. This is called Summer Shawl. And her idea was so many days of storms, so many days of good weather. And she said a summer in Calgary is magical. And she used ancient art yarns, but 8 stripes represent 8 days of thunderstorms in each July. So each one of her stripes represents some kind of weather pattern.
Right.
But I liked that there was just a simplicity to it.
Yeah.
There is an edge at the end that you can crochet. That's a nice little detail. I don't know if I'm going to do that because I think I just want to finish it.
Right.
So we'll see.
Cool.
And
That
then,
makes me think of the temperature blanket.
yeah,
Did you ever?
I've seen those.
Tempestry?
Temperature
Oh,
blanket.
there's one of those too, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And-
you knit those based on whatever the weather is that
Right,
week or
that
that.
week, yeah.
Yeah, you just
whatever.
do so
for the
many
year,
rows.
Yeah.
And then I have another little bag inside, which actually came with some bourbon. So you can find yarn bags anywhere.
Anywhere.
Where's the bourbon?
It's gone. It was a gift from a parent at school at the end of the school year saying,
Oh,
well
The
done.
parent
nice
understands.
I've got some awesome room parents, just parents in general, so really good. So, and I don't want to take too long because this one was also from last week, or last podcast. Oh gosh, where is it? Come on out.
I know, but you just.
It was crammed in there. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Sock arms.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here's my stormtrooper, I think I
Oh,
mentioned
yeah,
that
yeah.
last time.
Let's show that one.
So, oh yeah,
Your
my little
little
stormtrooper. Is he going to be in the right direction? Dangle, dangle. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. All right. I'm much further along than the last time, but I took this with me to Kounty, and all of this was ripped out. So what you saw last podcast, ribbit.
Why did we do that?
I did that for two reasons. One, I was knitting too loose.
Okay.
It was real uneven. And then the other one was it just seemed too wide. I took it off, same problem. I'm like, it was probably a good 4 inches wider than what I had. And I was like, this is not going to work.
So you ripped it entirely out?
Entirely out.
So I was thinking you only ripped to like maybe down to an inch left.
Bye-bye. All of it. So I was able to I haven't touched this since the weekend of like the 17th, 18th of August. So I am almost to where I need to be. It has some funky side shaping to it, but I am hoping it'll steam out. But I kept rereading the pattern to see if I did something wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really bizarre. So
it's like a design element or something right there, like a gather.
Yeah, so it's gonna be in this section, but I think I have like a half inch to go, and then I'm starting.
It almost looks like they wanted you. It looks like you begin the idea of a cable to make a pleat or a pucker.
I could have also done it wrong.
No,
and that's why it looks the way it is.
Not if you did it on both sides. You can't screw up on both sides.
So I really like my tension on this now. It's way even. This is my first fingering weight sweater, so it's feeling better. But I'm a little nervous because I've watched several podcasts
This is your first fingering weight sweater? Really?
Yes, because this one and Soldatna were DK.
Okay.
And then everything else has been chunky and all of that. But it has set-in sleeves. And just recently, that's the face I'm getting from people who are doing podcasting. I love this sweater pattern, but it has set-in sleeves. I'm like, what's wrong with set-in sleeves? So I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to a closet that I know.
You're a seamstress, so you know how a set-in sleeve works. I mean, it's frustrating sewing set-in sleeves. So you'll manage.
You'll be fine because you do so. I would be very concerned because I don't sew. Yeah.
We'll find out about that.
I thought we were just going to hand them to her.
Oh, that's right. Jen, I'm ready for sleeves now.
Did I give that away?
Oh, sorry. Did we not tell you that's
No, I didn't realize that. So
teacher in many forms.
We'll see. But you know what? There's so many people in our community that I could go to. I mean, Kathy at Black Locust probably is like, oh, I can do that. And then I do believe there's a woman named Stephanie that does sweater classes over at Black Locust. Okay. I bet she's going to be like, yeah, you just do this. I'm like, okay. So we're so lucky.
Well, and it's funny, too, when you're reading a pattern and you kind of, like, freak out. And then when you get to, because, like, when we were making the turtle dove, I think I, like, text you guys, like, continuously, I don't know what this means. What am I supposed to do? And then once I got through, I'm like, oh, that was it? Oh, well, that was easy. I didn't know what I was freaking about.
German short
rows.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I'm like, I don't understand. I don't understand.
That kind of intimidated me until we did the first couple, and I was like, oh, that's so much easier than I anticipated. Yeah.
Because you hear everybody talk about wraps and turns.
Yes.
And
German short rows are the easier version of wraps and turns.
So I can feel even better about the German short rows.
There are some fun scarves out there that have.
Why in a scarf for wrap and turn?
Because it gives kind of that bendy little
curve.
Texture, and so I think a lot of Stephen West patterns have those.
Okay.
We'll find out.
So my whips. I have a Heidi and Lana that I've been working on off and on, but the pattern is complicated enough that it's not car knitting. It's not knitting that you do when you're talking to your friends on knit day. But it's Margaret of Heidi and Lana. This is Rainfall, and she's amazing. Her kits, I showed you her kits last year.
They dye themselves.
Yes,
right?
this is the color that I picked out.
Phenomenal,
and it is just gorgeous. There's just real subtle shade differences. And let's see, this is the front. The texture, I hope this shows up, is just amazing. looks almost like a mermaid tail, but even the back is pretty. And Speedy over here, of course, has already made this.
Well, I wore it on the yarn tour last year because I didn't hop on your knit along. So it was before I was still in what yarn?
Can I just say your bag?
Oh yeah, isn't my bag beautiful?
And we have the same
Twinsies.
So they're reversible, yes.
Yes.
So look at you
And
with
look,
each
and
side out.
it matches
Oh, you have
my
to match
yarn.
your yarn.
Yes.
Matchy.
Yes. So this,
I think you even have it in your bag.
Yeah, I've
Or
got
it's
my
that one and everything.
Okay.
which is the one
Same
Cedar
pattern,
Hill,
yeah.
keyhole.
So I love this one, but it's something that I only work on when
She's alone.
and I can think about it, because otherwise I end up ripping out a section like I did yesterday.
Yeah,
And
we meant to have coffee and knitting yesterday.
And I was already
Yeah.
tinking at that point, and then it just became
tried not
my
to
count
watch.
is way off, so I just went back to my lifeline. Thank you, lifelines. Yes.
That lifeline saved me several times.
Oh, yes. And then I happened to see this pattern by Kirrmaier, and I thought that is just a really cute tank top. And
Is
it's the
this
same yarn that
Did
I
you get this off
used.
Ravelry?
No, this is with the yarn, the Kirrmaier Rodeo
Okay.
or Rodeo.
Let's
Yarn.
call it Rodeo because
Okay,
it sounds funny.
Yeah. I just happened to see this pattern, and I thought, oh, I really like that. That's really cute.
It's got a nice detail to it.
It does, but I'm not doing it.
She's not. We had a long conversation about that.
This is the detail.
The
Okay,
leather cording and the side to do a gather, and it's on both sides, right?
Yeah, and
That's when you stop knitting in the round.
Well, it's not even knit in the round.
This is knit flat. It's knit in two pieces, and I decided that
Totally do that.
I
So we were
really
trying to
don't
figure out how
like
to do it in the round. Yeah.
doing pieces, because the last one that I did, seaming it just doesn't feel right. I don't care for that. So how do I do this in the round? So I talked to Darcy. We went back and forth on it, and we decided that I really didn't.
I had to work.
Oh, here it
That's why
is.
I wasn't with them.
Right.
Because Chris and I work 4/10, so we generally have Fridays off.
So I
Sorry,
started
teacher
it.
woman.
That's okay. I love my class, so yay.
It's only this far long, but it's
Look at
seed stitch.
you.
It's seed stitch. I mean, reading that pattern thing, I missed the part where it says knit 5 rows and then work in seed stitch.
You're a skimmer.
So
It starts out in seed stitch.
I did 1 row of
Design
seed stitch,
element.
and then I knit 4 rows,
Oh.
and then I went back to seed stitch.
We planned it that
roll
way.
with it.
Right?
Yes.
You planned it.
And I switched it over to, I had it on a shorter cable needle, and I switched it over to something bigger so that I could use my square needles
That
I picked up on the yarn tour last year and had
Gwen's,
never
right?
used.
At Glen
I think I got
Aaron's?
these at Glen Aaron's,
I
yeah.
think you got them at Glen Aaron.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Cubes? What are they called? It should say on
It does, right here.
Wait, I need glasses.
They're Louette's square circular knitting needles.
Okay.
Gluette square circular. I'm like,
There's
wait a
another
minute.
needle in there because when I go to switch it back onto that, or when I end up,
So did you notice any difference in the stitching using the squares?
no.
Yeah, I heard other people say that too. It was just a matter of how it
Because
feels
most
on
of the
hands.
time you have yarn on the needles where you're working, so it's just really not.
And what are they? Are these like the graphite or something?
I
Like,
think
what are
so.
they?
I think so. Does it say?
I already got a tink. I think I missed her.
But a lot of people like them if they have, like, it says they're perfect for knitters who have arthritis, carpal tunnel, or stiffness in their hands and fingers.
That's what she and I were talking about yesterday about this particular yarn.
It
of how
splits
it
easily.
splices so
Yeah.
easily.
You gotta keep that tension.
Yeah.
Which could
It's a very
make your
loose,
hands hurt.
It's a very loose twist, so it barely has any twist to it at all. So when you're going to insert your needle, you keep going in between all the fibers and splicing it.
Yeah. It doesn't say what it's made of, but it feels
I wonder
like
why just that tiny change
I don't know.
has such an impact.
Yeah.
All right, all you scientists, ergonomic
Yeah, who
specialists,
uses
like
those?
why?
Tell us the difference. What makes it so much?
Because I've heard
better.
people say like
This is
cotton
my
yarn
yarn.
is harder on people's hands
Right.
versus
This
other
is more
types of yarn.
It's more abrasive, but
Yeah.
you would think wool
Yeah.
100% wool might be a little bit more abrasive than
Because I
silk.
find with mine, my fingering, like I'm really keeping that yarn tight, so I have to watch, because after a while I can feel I get a little sore from holding that. But sorry.
So I'm going to knit in the round until I get to the sleeve, and then put the back on waist yarn and knit the top flat, knit the back flat, and then the only seam will be on the.
Nice.
So we'll see. This is an experiment.
I love it.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah. I think that is my only. Yep, that's it. Those are my two active whips. I have a couple others that I could go digging into, but those are my
That's
two
what
active.
I have. Yeah. The digging.
But this one is, with it being seed stitch, it's pretty much I can do that, anywhere kind of thing. But Margaret's I have to really think about, or
What was
I'll lose it.
the name of that bandana cowl that we intended to do for our Christmas? I'm trying to see if I can find it on Ravelry.
I see it.
I don't remember.
Because I remember we were trying to figure that out last time.
Escarpment or encampment? Escarpment, encarpment.
Because I thought that might be interesting that we could actually figure that out this time. Because I don't think we remembered it last time.
Sorry for digging.
Okay.
I thought I had something.
What are you looking for? Another whip?
No. I thought I brought something, but I will save it.
I love
for
that she
next
has
time.
multiple whips, because when she first started knitting with Darcy and I, she was a one project, finish it.
Not gonna have more yarn on stash. I'm not gonna do it.
Then she started hanging with us. And
Sorry.
Yeah. Then I realized
she's come to the dark side.
Well, taught her how to spend the money.
Exactly, but plus, okay, my card project is my scrappy blanket.
Sure.
So
Right.
I can do that anywhere in the cart. And it's like socks, if I know I only have 5 minutes, I'm just going to a certain length.
And I think that's why a lot of people like socks.
Yeah.
Because if you only have a few minutes, you can get
a row
until you get to the heel, or
Or the
until the
toe.
toe or whatever. I mean, whether you're doing toe up or top down, But
And then the scarf, same thing. It's depending on the pattern, it's a little more dedication.
Right.
Sweater is you're gonna sit for a while and knit.
Right.
So I realized there are different knitting needs.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why I have to have something going other than Rainfall, because Rainfall requires my concentration. I really have to think about that one, and even then I mess it up. But somehow I got an extra stitch, which is why I had to go back.
I guess
I think it's ESC.
Well, I don't know how you guys are with your favorite list and
I added
Ravelry.
to it last night.
The list is so long, and if you look at it from as you add things, you can kind of see what your likes and your interests were at that moment. So there's this whole section of baby sweaters and a whole section of sweaters for myself. It's I was into sweaters that day, or I was into something else that day. So I thought it would have been easier to find this.
ESCARPMENT.
Can it be erased?
I already got it.
Find it.
Yeah, the Escarpment cow.
It's
Okay.
There it
blue,
is.
green.
Yes.
Oh, let me see. I'm getting a little glare, so let me hold it that way.
Yeah.
So,
So that's what we're gonna make for Christmas, right?
Yes. So our intentions are during the yarn tour to find,
Minis, right?
because this is actually a gradient, I think.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So whether we find the right amount of minis,
One.
Oh, that's
is
that
the-
one is where someone actually
Takes a
did
while.
it
Yeah, there it is.
in a
Are those the
rotated
mini?
colors, I think, in minis.
there we go.
So it's a little less gradient. So we need to.
I like the gradient, FYI.
Okay.
So we're buying the yarn for
There's
each
another
other,
gradient.
right? We're
Yes.
picking out the mini skein, and it's gonna go in a gift, and we're gonna do a swap.
Right.
So
mini
We're doing
or
our
gradient.
own. We're doing our own
I like gradient.
advent
I like
calendar.
the gradient.
Yeah, I like gradient. So. Yes, we decided, I think with the advent calendar, that this is the main portion of it. And
Right.
then instead of 25 days, if I remember that last conversation, we broke it down into weeks.
Yeah.
So that we'd each, so we're somehow, even though we're hitting all these stores together, getting gifts
Right.
We haven't picked names or anything,
No.
so it's
No.
a very fluid kind of
Yeah.
So as
shopping.
we're out in the yarn tour and we see something, we're like, oh, that would be perfect.
So we will most likely pick names before the tour, and that way we know who we're shopping for secretly.
I'm sure that'll work out
I
well.
know.
So should
It's
we
a
write on there
Dude,
like
did you see?
color we're hoping for?
Did you see Crystal buy mini skeins? I wonder if she
I
has
wonder
a
if that's for
name.
me.
Or like, I hope that's not for me.
Yeah, like so I'll be like, go tell her I don't want that color.
It's going to be obvious who we get. But we thought it would be fun. I mean, we see so many cool Advent ideas out there, and we just thought, let's just do something for ourselves.
But a lot of them come with so much yarn that it's like, there's no way I can knit all of that
Right.
and keep up.
Right.
So that's why we were thinking just a mini skein a week and then little trinkets in between so that,
Progress keepers.
right, so
Not
that we
this,
can just keep
because
up.
I intend
Yeah.
on finding my own when we're out on the
okay.
tour.
FYI, when you buy these, check the length. I didn't realize there were different lengths. So I cut 1.5 inches off mine
Oh,
because it would drop down so low. So I just got
Gotcha.
so excited. And this is by Love Handles, I do believe. And I love the color. I love everything about it.
So
But
this is 16 inches.
It
now.
was 17, so maybe only 1 inch. So it was 17. I think originally I was going to take off 2, but I thought let's
I
just
think
ease
you're
it.
gonna need to cut it and put a new hole in it again. 'cause
Yeah,
it looks
I
like it's starting to.
Slipped and cut the wrong way. But I figured I'd wear it until it broke, and then, well, I probably wouldn't.
We can
Hopefully.
just. I have a punch. We can punch a new hole.
There we go. But yeah, definitely pay attention to the size on them. But I love it. I've used it so many times. I feel like I was somewhere and somebody asked how long something was. I'm like, here. You're like, do you always wear
And
a
you
roller
checked
on
it.
your wrist?
It is true to size.
Yeah.
Because some people were saying to really pay attention.
Well, I wondered because leather stretches, but
Right.
because I wondered because of the grain, the direction of the grain that they used on the leather, that it's not going to stretch.
That makes sense.
So I've had this since May.
Mm-hmm.
And I
And
wear
it's
it
still
frequently.
16 inches.
Yeah, I wear it frequently. So
Cool.
So do you guys have any like future knitting that you're wanting, or is it mainly just what you find on the yarn tour?
Well, I have a ton of patterns, but I don't have.
Right.
I don't have anything major in mind. Oh, my great aunt is asking for baby sweaters.
Oh,
So
that'll be fun. I went down the rabbit hole of Ravelry last night.
I have that in my
boy.
favorite.
Do you really?
Yes.
Ooh.
Mhm.
It's an Aran, so it's a large. It's called Avalanche, and so it's got a little bit of cabling, I think, along the side. The back is, I think, plain, but it's just, I love that open work without it being.
Heavy.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did the Coleman, I think it was last year. Loved it, but I'm like, I'm done with it. It was a lot of detail, but it's by Heidi Kirrmaier. I totally probably botched the name, but it is in bulky weight. So this might be my.
So she'll have it done in like an evening.
I love that look.
It
So
does.
that's
It's
my. I think I might look at and. So
Do you have any acquisitions?
I think we do.
I do.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
let's.
Well, you and I have one.
Oh yes, we do. But okay, I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna find mine because I've been moving so much around. Bubbles.
Little sheep soap.
Oh, and there's Darcy's.
Crystal got
Crystal's-
these for us.
I did. I
Where
went
did
up
you get
to.
them?
I went back to the shop in Watkins Glen, Fiber on the Glen, while I was up in the Fingerlakes last weekend, and
Lavender.
found these.
Truth lavender?
They're goat's milk, and they're shaped like sheep, and they were made there in the region. So I picked these up for my buddies.
Very nice.
And while
Smells
I
good.
was there,
Yes.
I know
got
you didn't just
another-
get soap.
I got another skein of the Fingerlakes colorway of the Handmade Travels.
Love
And it's dyed in central New York, and it was grown in Australia and
They grow the yarn there?
scoured apparently scoured and
I want
scoured
that.
and
I
spun
want those
in New
sheets.
Zealand. Yes, and dyed in central New York. But it's the
Ultra squishy.
yes, it's the
What's the weight?
It says fingering, but she said it kind of knits like a sport weight.
Yeah.
Because it's kind
very
of
lofty.
Yes, it does not look like standard fingering weight to me. But so I had gotten 2 skeins when I was there in June with my friend Sarah, and I thought I'm gonna pick up another skein because that way I'll definitely have enough for a sweater.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my major acquisition.
Any idea pattern-wise for sweaters?
I'm not sure. I think this will be my yarn for whatever sweater we decide on, if we decide on something that's not bulky for our
New
Year's cast on. Yeah, but not positive. I was looking at Navelli.
That's on my list for
Yeah, I
yarn tour
like that
yarns.
one,
Navelli?
and I thought if I picked
I need to find them.
like the dark, like a dark purple or a dark
Uh-huh.
green or a dark blue, that could be that contrast.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking maybe that for this. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Okay, you ready for this? I'm thinking about knitting up a swatch,
What?
just to see what it'll look like.
What?
That's fine.
I know, right?
What's that?
Because I want to see what it's gonna look
What's
like.
that?
I'm not saying I'm gonna wash and
Right.
like whatever. I just want to see what the yarn is gonna knit up like
Right.
to decide if it's gonna be what I want for something like the
Oh
Navelli.
my gosh.
And then I can also see
How
what
do you spell that?
Navelli.
N-A-V?
I'm pretty sure it's Navelli. And that is Caitlin Hunter?
Yes, it is.
Okay, Caitlin Hunter.
That's good color work.
Yes.
And you do all the color work
And
first, from what I
Right,
hear.
it's bottom
just
up, which
fast as can be.
that's a little, I like top down just because then I can make it as long as I want. But I really like,
The projects that have been done in the Navelli
I have to look at some of the other projects.
1,102
Really? I really like the shape of that.
Yes.
And I like the color that she
Yeah, I'm
because
sure.
it's mustardy. Oh, but
I'm
that's a
telling
brilliant
you,
pink. I want that.
There are it looks
Okay, I can't look at that.
Yeah.
Now I'm
Okay, podcast
okay,
has
that's
been
what I'm
hijacked by the
getting.
Navelli.
Okay, I'm gonna have to make that. Oh, stop.
every single project.
No, show the gray and the pink
Okay,
one. I
gray
really
and
like
pink.
that. Oh, I like that one too. Ooh. Yeah.
Darcy. So instead of scroll, we'll go Navelli.
Yeah.
Navelli.
So yeah, I'm
okay,
gonna
I guess-
see what.
Have you made it?
No, but the yarn that I got at Knot House, quick,
Yellow mustard and brown.
and it's fingering, which can be done in
Right.
that. So
Oh, I like
it doesn't. It is cropped,
But it doesn't have
but
to
you
be.
can create that length.
Yes.
So really, you just need 2 fingering weight skeins for the color work, and then 2 to 3 for the body.
Right.
That's it.
And I have.
So
I have everything I need. Actually, this will probably. I could do the Navelli with 2 skeins. I'll have a skein left over, and these are very generous skeins. This is 516 yards.
Ah.
Yeah.
And the beauty
So.
about the Navelli is all those one skein wonders that you have bought. Go through your stash before
Right.
we do the yarn tour.
That's why I have to
and
go
if you
through my
find
stash.
2 for the color work, you know you can find a body.
Yeah.
So that way you've already kind of.
Or I have the body, and I have to see what I
So
can
then
find to go
did
with.
we just
my color.
officially make that decision?
Is
gonna
the
be-
Navelli our thing?
Is it our New Year's?
Our New Year's cast on?
And then we can wear it to Rhinebeck in 2020 because
21
we
we
are
go.
going to Rhinebeck in 2020. That is our goal.
Yes.
Wait, so speaking of,
Okay.
how soon do we have to jump on the bandwagon to get the, because
Isn't that in January?
it's a bus
It's a
ride
bus tour
that
from.
we don't have to drive, so we can knit the whole time.
The package is through, I want to say it's Cleveland Metroparks. We heard about it at the Berea Fiber
The
Fest,
Wolly
which
Fiber
is in March.
Fest.
Isn't it
Yes.
Cleveland Metroparks like Stitch Fiber Guild or
Fiber
something
Guild
like
or
that?
yeah,
something.
they have
Yes.
they have something on Ravelry.
So it's a flat price, and it covers the cost of the bus, meals,
Admission?
2 days admission, and 2 nights at a hotel. So at first you're like, dang, but when you look at the
No, it's
price
not
and what it
bad at all.
covers,
stuff that comes with
deal
it.
alert. So
Yeah.
we've got to get on that right away.
I think that comes out in January.
Is it January? Okay, I felt like
think.
it was, but we're going to keep an eye on it.
Yes.
So we'll be both,
Yes.
get it now.
So don't take it all. So we want in.
Yes. So we'll
We want in.
keep you in touch about
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So.
So it's it, Navelli.
Navelli
I
is
think so.
it.
So now I have
Cool.
something. I have to buy yarn now too. Yay!
Did I put that on my list? Yep, I think, Navelli is on
on
my
your
shopping
list.
list for the yarn tour.
Oh.
I didn't make
Cool.
a shopping list. I should probably do that. Otherwise,
Yes, otherwise it's
Ma,
like,
I'm
oh, I like that.
this,
Oh, I
and
like
ooh,
that. Oh, I
this,
want that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I should make a list.
Yes.
But the problem is, once I start making a list, it gets bigger and bigger.
Bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's
Oh,
what happens
I
to me
want
with
this, so I need to add it to my list.
Yeah.
So that way I can say I bought just the stuff on my list.
Absolutely.
You know, I managed to forget my grocery shopping list, but I have a sneaky suspicion I would not forget that list.
No.
Typical.
Any more acquisitions?
That's it for my acquisitions.
Okay. How about you?
I only have this one. It was handmade by someone. Remember this little bag?
I was gonna say, how do we unfold it?
Yeah, how do I
Those bento bags.
Bento bags.
So,
Jen made these.
I got on my
Isn't
little
it
bento bag
cute?
kick. So this one's not so much. Yeah, this one, it just folds up nicely, and you just tie it on the top. And the other thing is, if you stitch it at the top, like you can add a little covering to it, so you can make it a handle if you wanted it.
So even if I pinned it.
Yeah, it would work there, and then
Ah.
so it had an option for a little handle
So
thing
cute.
there. So yeah,
I like
Kristy Glass had it on her acquisitions many videos ago, and it was like, I gotta figure that out. It was mind blowing because it's like origami.
It is.
when you're
It's like
folding
it folds in all kinds of ways.
Like I had to follow directions, and that's so not me. And it's like in order for it to turn out. So
okay, now I want to see your acquisition.
Now I
Come on.
should have thought before to already cut the plastic, but I
I
was
need some
afraid.
scissors.
Okay, scissors. This is
Oh, wait.
from
Don't get up. I have scissors right here.
Destination Yarn. It is a Labor Day. We got some, Darcy.
Okay.
All right. So it is their knit along, which I can't remember a whole lot about it other than
I don't remember if it's a mystery or if it is, if the pattern is in here.
I just wanted to do it because the colorway is based on Hudson, Ohio's Main Street, and I work in Hudson, and they have a very adorable Main Street. So
Christmas.
And
it
I
is
was
like
tempted,
Christmas.
but I have.
The colorway is called Main Street. All right, and it was so funny because my husband said you got something from Destination Yarn, and I shouted squishy mail,
It's not squishy.
but it was cute. It was marked fragile.
Yes. So
So-
she sent us a picture. I'm like, what did you buy from
Yeah.
a yarn shop that's fragile?
Fragile. So we have to make sure the yarn carrier is going to be super careful with my yarn. So here
Oh, it's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
Hometown Comfort
Mystery
Mystery
knit
Knit Along. I have never ever done a
That's
knit along.
exciting. Oh, look, they come in little bags. I'm so excited.
Clue 1, clue 2, clue 3, and clue 4. What's that?
Final gift. Open after bind off.
I can't do that. Oh, I think I remember what it is. It's a pin to hold the scarf.
Why
So I
don't
have to
turn
wait.
this up?
So the choices
So
were.
clue 1 is Labor Day, Monday, September 2nd. Then clue 2 is September 6th, and then clue 3, September 13th. Clue 4,
Coffee shop?
20,
What?
September 20th, and end September 30th.
Clue 2 is called coffee shop.
Ooh.
3 is florist.
Ice cream shop, which I will crack up if it's the ice cream shop. Parents in my classroom, they own one of the ice creams. There's several ice cream
Oh,
shops.
fun.
Main Street Brick. Oh my gosh.
Does the picture have the ice cream
Look how
shop?
cute these are.
It's further down. The bookstore is right there. The Learned Owl bookstore in Hudson, Ohio. Oh my gosh. If any of you know the Meg Ryan movie, You've Got Mail,
Yes.
the Learned Owl is her bookstore. Every time I walk in there, I want to twirl.
Okay.
And they are amazing. If you need a book, you call them up. They'll have it for you in less than 2 days.
Awesome.
Oh,
It
wow.
is the best bookstore ever.
So this is a collaboration. It's Crafty Flutterby Creations and Destination Yarn.
And Crafty Flutterby
Flutterby.
is that gold vest that I made, which I will bring in future. I'm
okay.
pacing myself on finished objects now that I'm back to school. I'm going to use the ones I've already done. But she's the one that I bought that pattern from at Worcester Fiber Fest.
Okay. So you have to go to Ravelry and put in the code to get your clues every week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, actually,
makes it
I think the new
fun.
portion will be emailed to you on each new clue release day.
So I have to go at
And
their
then
pace.
the other option
Yeah,
was
that'll
there was
make it take
Hometown,
longer for her.
there was
I'm
Main
opening Clue
Street,
one.
and what was the other
Seriously?
I have to open Clue
Well,
1.
you only have it until Monday. You can't wait till
Don't
Monday?
you want to see it?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I do, but yeah.
Let's at least take a peek. It's a mini. So I have
Main Street Brick.
And what's
and leaf stitch marker set.
Cute.
That is so cute.
Oh my gosh.
I might just attack you for this.
You're
What was
so
the,
cute.
What was the other one? There was Main Street and
It was
downtown.
It
I
was
had
like
the email.
One was
blues
Cleveland.
and oceany.
Well, one was Cleveland and one was Hudson because
Okay.
Jeannie,
Yes.
Jeannie from Destination Yarn is from Cleveland, and I don't know the gal's name from Flutterby. She's from Hudson, I believe.
Should we look at all the colors?
No! Would you make it what it's supposed
Now
to be?
you know why I didn't open it because I'd be like, it's been sitting on my
So
table
what we
since
should do
Tuesday.
is I'll take color 2,
I'll take color 3.
and she can't have them until
And what are we gonna do with
before.
color 4?
We
Oh
could
wait,
do-
one of us gets
We
this,
should just take
and
the
one of us
whole
gets
box.
that.
I can do this. I expect the children in my classroom to be patient and wait their turn, so I have got to be
Dave.
practical. Dave.
Take these
Oh,
from
please.
her.
He'll be like, what's this one?
No, don't let her open it.
right.
She's gonna
Hide
spoil
it.
the fun of it.
All right, so is everything back in there? So yes.
At least she doesn't get the pattern part, so it's not like she
Right.
can knit with it. So even
Yes.
if she does open it,
Yeah.
she can't sneak
So
through.
this is my first ever knit along
Cool.
purchase or anything.
Oh,
I
fun.
usually am like, meh, but when I saw Downtown Hudson, I'm like, I
Right, you
have
have
to.
to.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to. So,
I was trying to see. if
yeah,
you
I
had
want to
that
say the other one
picture.
had more of the like
Go to Jeannie's,
blues colors.
To Jeannie's website.
Yeah.
Oh,
Destination
that'll
Yarn.
take me
So
forever.
I'm definitely
Okay.
more of that earth tone. Oh, look at you. City Park.
Hometown City Park.
City Park, okay.
So in
One
Cleveland
was more
with the
cool
ocean,
and one
was
more
with the
warm.
lake,
She's
Yeah.
got Main Street listed as warm color palette, and the other one is a cool.
Okay.
and we've got the big
Cables and
Cleveland
lace.
word right there up on the
slip
lake.
stitches.
Cables, lace.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Sheets in it.
I hope I don't miss school. I'm already taking
Be
a
calling
personal
sick,
day
you know why.
for the yarn tour. All right, so that's it
That's what
for
we have.
acquisition. And then Darcy,
Yeah, I don't have anything
you're good.
else. I'm good.
Okay.
I got nothing.
So our yarn tour.
Our yarn tour, yes. So we wrote down. We just figured this out. We're all gonna ride together, travel together.
And we
With
have a
one-
4th.
yes.
We have a fourth Allison.
Allison's joining us. So excited.
So Jen found an Airbnb
Mhm.
up in the Lake
Youngstown area.
Youngstown area. Yes, Youngstown area.
So we took the map with the shops and kind of divided them into these all are in the same
area.
These are in the same area. These are in the same area.
Right.
So the first 2 days we're going to take a weekend, do a Friday, Saturday, and we'll do. It looks like the bulk of them on Friday, and then spend the night in that
7
area,
shops.
and then do the next grouping on Saturday because there's a little bit of distance between the first area and the second area. And if we can find any shops in between those two, we'll hit those as well.
So there's 7 shops on Friday. There are, what is that, 1, 2, 3, 4 on Saturday. Right?
Yes.
And then the following weekend, we'll just do the day and there are 3.
And we're going to add in, depending on how our time goes,
We
we're
may or
go-
may
we
not.
may not. We may be able to hit the crafty needle as well.
Yes.
Which is not on the tour.
Right.
Right?
But
So if you know of any other shops in between all those, let us know.
Between like Youngstown and
Canton, Youngstown, Cleveland.
And if you want to do
Youngstown
it,
and like Cuyahoga Falls.
it's yarndiscoverytour.com.
And that is the most adorable B&B that we're staying.
Oh yeah.
And it's called an estate, and it shows like beautiful gardens.
Is it Lily's?
Something like
Lily's
that.
place?
Yeah.
Lily, yeah.
Yeah, and it just looks like a good place to come in after a long day of shopping for yarn. And just relaxing and checking in with all of our purchases and getting super excited. We
Sitting
might
in
do
it.
a quick little video, who knows. And then she serves a breakfast in the morning because the shops don't open till 10.
Right.
And I think we'll head out then and hit those and have a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited.
All right.
So there'll be an extra person in our car. So who's driving? You or me?
I think I'm driving.
You're driving? How big's your trunk?
She has a luggage rack on top.
Oh,
I'll bring bungee cords.
all right. I mean, if I have to, I'll put
have
my
it.
yarn
It's the
in
same
the.
one I had last year.
I'll put the
so-
yarn in my seat and I'll ride on the top.
That we want the yarn to be safe.
That's right.
Just hold on.
Yeah. Just like when I went to Scotland and, I said I was going to leave like all the underwear and everything behind. Shove my suitcase full of all the yarn so that got home safely.
That's true. All right.
I think that's
And
it.
that's it.
So we
Okay.
will probably touch base with you while we're on our tour.
On the tour.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you
Bye.
for subscribing.
Yes.
We've got a few more subscribers.
Thank you for the comments.
Yes, it's so fun to know that there are people out there watching this, and hopefully we're encouraging people, Laura, to want to knit, and we are willing to suck them in and show them how